Hello, we are back. Today we're talking about a very easy and cheap way and very fast way you can actually do your meal prep. So I'll explain when we get into it, but it is 4:05 and let's get into it. So we'll get this started right away because you'll see in a bit you want to use up your idle time. You don't want to be sitting around while this waits to actually saute. So I usually start off with like bell peppers or onions, a vegetable a bit like that in similar fashion because the rice is going to take a while to make. Let's just get that started as well because all that idle time we will be doing something else. Alright, so that's all underway now. I'm just going to add a little bit of flavoring to the vegetables. I usually use lemon pepper, but I don't have any today, so this is going to have to do. Garam masala, a bit of cayenne pepper, and trusty old salt. So this is going to take a few minutes to really get going because it was frozen. Otherwise you could just throw it in the microwave for a bit. Now while that's all underway, we'll start off with the chicken. This is also a little bit frozen, but we'll get through it. Sometimes it's kind of easier to prepare the chicken if it's frozen, but because it's like less squishy, I guess. Oh, I need to go to a cooking class, man. I don't think I'm cutting this properly. There's always one section of the chicken breast which just has some like gnarly bits on it. Right on cue. Look who's arrived. He usually gets some of the scraps. It's like his favorite thing, so let's try and not keep him waiting too long because otherwise he's going to start meowing and mess up the audio. Won't you, kitty? Won't you? Alright, now that this is all sort of sauteed, chicken goes in. It's kind of all done in order of time to cook. Chicken, of course, you do not want to undercook. This is also a good time to just cut up a couple pieces that are a little bigger than the others so it all cooks at a reasonable, similar time. Alright, so now we got the absolute value monsters, the chickpeas. We got some lentils here. If you've seen a few videos, I talk about these all the time because they're pretty nice and they're so cheap and they're so good as well. Like all the goods for protein, for micronutrients, fiber as well if you're worried about that. So I'm just going to let that drain a little bit in the sink. So because I'm waiting a bit before I throw the chickpeas in, you don't want to just be sitting there. It can waste a lot of time if you're just waiting for the thing in front of you to cook. So it's always easier if you start to clean up before you actually are done. Because when you finish you want to eat it, right? You don't want to have to wait and clean up. And it's going to take the exact amount of time. The only difference is you're all cleaned up by the time you're done. So we put that away. I'm gonna go feed this to Kitty, and I'll also make a start on cleaning this up. Alright, just like that, we're looking a bit more tidy, and chicken's like half cooked. So let's throw these in, and now that the sink's free, we can just sit that there to drain the lentils. And here we go. Oh, lost a couple there, that's alright. You also want to stagger it because if you add everything at once, the temperature inside the pan is going to plummet and the chicken's just going to stop cooking for a bit. So if you stagger it in, the temperature stays a bit more stable. Now, a really important point I'm going to make here is we have this mix going and it's going to be bland right now. I'm just going to add this simmering sauce, so it was like $2, which is pretty good. But the thing with me is I really don't care if I eat the same thing for consecutive days, but if you do, I'm going to cut back to when we just had maybe the chickpeas and the chicken and the bell peppers there. I just want to say at any point you can just take half of it out, throw it in another pan, and then maybe add half of this to one pan and half of something else to another pan. Or you'll see today I'm going to put it on rice, but you could just put half on rice and half in a burrito. So you don't have to eat the same thing every time. This is just what I do. So let's just say I was going to split it up, right? I could throw that there, empty half of this into the other pan, and then maybe this goes in there, and then I have a different sauce going in there, so it's fresh, it's different stuff. Let me know what school of thought you're in as far as eating the same thing or not. It's kind of like, you know, those like tech CEOs who just wear the same thing every day. It kind of just takes some of the guesswork out. But at the same time, if food is a big part of your life, I'm not going to tell you what to eat. Oh, the sweet sound of the rice cooker. At the same time, I'm going to put most of this can in. As I said before, you don't want to change the pan too much because otherwise the temperature is going to come down and we still want it to keep ticking over as far as cooking goes. So we'll add most of that. There's a bit left in there. Oh, that is not a good camera angle. So I grew up in Asia, so I am just addicted to rice, can't get enough of it, but this sort of thing goes pretty well in a wrap as well. Maybe you want to sub out the chickpeas or the lentils for a can of chili beans if you want to throw it in like a wrap or something. That's really nice as well. As far as rice goes, you don't want to leave it in the fridge for more than, say, 2 days, just because bacteria can accumulate rather quickly with rice. I'm just going to spread that out so it cools down a bit quicker. And I am also going to throw in the rest of this. The nice thing is this is just a template that you can throw in with any sauce. Like this is sweet and sour because I quite like that. But if you want to throw it in like a curry, I do that as well with like a tikka masala or a butter chicken sauce. It's pretty versatile. Like the chicken, the chickpeas, and the lentils don't have strong flavors, so it really just depends on what you put with it as far as flavoring and spices. But I personally like to throw it on rice as well, just because it's convenient. Like the rice cooker cooks in about 10 minutes, so maybe you get home, you put the rice cooker on, you have a shower, and by the time you're out of the shower, everything's ready to go. If you're worried about undercooking chicken and you don't want to end up with salmonella, then I recommend just grabbing like one of the thicker pieces you can find. You can just throw it under a bit of water so you don't burn your hands, and just checking what it looks like in the middle, because it's always going to be the thick pieces that take the longest to cook, and if they're cooked then everything else is cooked. You don't want to overcook chicken because then it seems to develop like a funny taste after a few days. But all that is ready to go, so let's try not to spill any. That didn't last. Oh, I've really made a mess here, haven't I? I usually do this beside the sink so I don't have to. So that was about 20 minutes, which is pretty good. If I wasn't filming, I could probably do 15. Anyway, it's all good. Yes, so that's a really easy template. It's fast, and I use that. It covers me for about 4 meals until I make a new batch. So let me know what you think. And if you want to see what I do, what I eat for the rest of the day, I've also got a video on that. So let me know. Hope you enjoyed. I'll see you next time.